Wallingford. Click the banner for details or visit us
Not
online
really
at
completely helpful.
executivehonda.com.
Well, as you can see here, even with power overwhelming and the charge, I mean, I could sneak out like 12 damage, and then with Shadow Flame, use it to wipe a board, but I still have to survive a turn, which I can't do. There comes the not quite what was planned. That's okay. I gotta be willing to experiment with something. I have high hopes for this once I actually get the decision making down. Hey, we got a new quest. Shaman or Warlock Dominance. Well, we're working on the Warlock anyway, so that's fine. So what we're tending to want to do with this deck is in the early game, which I consider the early game like the first 4 turns, give or take. You want to either be even or ahead. Then in the mid game, you don't mind if they kind of wrestle board control back. You kind of want to be sitting on your things like the Shadow Flame. You want to be sitting on the Hellfire. You want to be sitting on your board clear. So that way, it gets close, and then you just kind of take it back, and you punch the last little bit through. Now the Rogue should be actually one of this deck's kind of weaker matchups because of the fact that the Rogue itself has the ability to kill some of our weaker minions directly. But when you look at things like the Argent Squire or the Void Walker, they both are pretty resilient to just a smash or two. Yes, this is the deck that we played. Whenever I start my stream, I usually have a rough game or two where I'm not making the best decisions. I think it's really an artifact of getting excited, of setting things up, and not always making the most efficient decision. So I feel kind of bad about that. Now once I get into a nice little smooth kind of feeling, I need to iron out the kinks, and my tourney is on Saturday. That's right. I'm going to be playing in the MLG Open Tourney, Week 5. This Saturday, only 128 Hearthstone players got to make it, and you're getting to see one of them. And if I do well here, it could mean something. Not saying it's going to mean that all of a sudden the people are... all of a sudden the people are going to come flocking to my channel or something, but we'll see. Hey, hopefully one of us will be there, right? I mean, I'd rather see you or me win it, right? So right now we're hoping he doesn't have like anything awesome, because Rogue's usually known for being able to do extra damage. And so he's going to Eviscerate, yep. So he kind of wasted a removal there, which is fine. You know, he felt the need to take out a taunt. These taunts are important, but they're not the deck. Hey man, when we played, we went 4-4, so I don't know, it's going to be a pretty good matchup. Your priest, priests in general just wreck. Well, if it's one thing we learned, it's that we're pretty much an even match. I mean, one could potentially slightly argue that with this deck, I need to get really good with it in 2 days, because I don't want to bring out my ace deck And the reason I don't want to bring out my ace deck is I just love it so much. Okay, well, this definitely looks. This is the board now to Hellfire. See, this is the moment. This is the moment we save this particular card for. Ooh. No, Mortal Coil is not going to do enough. We have to Hellfire here, and then we're going to follow that up with a Knife Juggler. And we have confidently taken the board. He blew everything, and this is really what I was talking about. You hold parity in the early game, then in the mid game you use like a Hellfire or some other trick to basically take over. You get what I'm saying? And so this is exactly what the deck's supposed to do. And now the question is, can I take it the rest of the way and win with it? We have an aggressive board here. We have essentially card advantage. We have board advantage. With these threats, and he wasted a lot of removal on the cards we had, he's got a lot of decisions to make, and not a lot of cards to do it with. And not to mention, we have a very strong late game in Ragnaros, the Fire Lord. We might not want to spend this on turn 8 immediately, because we do know that he does have options of removal. We haven't seen a single silence. We saw one silence. Ah, beautiful. So we dropped the Swamp Ooze, which takes away his weapon. Then we're going to pump this up so it survives this hit. Then we're going to push some damage through. And then we'll draw another card. So now we have multiple options here. We have the Charge, or we have Ragnaros. Or if he puts out a weak minion, we have Mortal Coil. So he did that specifically to get rid of the 5. So with that combo, the Fan of Knives into the Betrayal, that was very good playing with his removal. That's why Spell Rogues are always difficult to deal with. But we always have answers. And that's what's good about this deck. This deck does not rely on being ahead. This deck does not need to be ahead. And we basically won this game, and our opponent doesn't know it yet. And here's why. Unless he can clear both these minions, the Ragnaros Fire Lord will finish it off. And that Assassinate was huge. Let me tell you, he might have just bought himself a turn. I think he bought himself a turn, because we can't risk not taking out the taunt and having a 50-50 chance to win only. We're going to do this. We're kind of forced here into a position where we're going to trade him. Well, that's cool. That was one of those serendipitous. Actually, let's see if we get another drop. Why not? Oh, cool. Shattered Sun Cleric. Not going to help us there. Now we just remove that. And now, we just wait for the win. Well, he played a Boulder Fist Ogre, which is definitely going to make this Fire Lord. Oh! No, it doesn't matter. Well, now we win multiple ways. The Fire Lord could have won it for us, but with the Power Overwhelming, we also win it. So we double win it! We double win! Woo! See, this was a 50% chance to win. That was a 100% chance. And that's kind of what the deck's supposed to do. We want the deck to, and here we go. It's rank time. It means something now, because there's these little stars here, right? They're pretty. Oh, so pretty. But yeah, so, as I said before, with things like the Divine Shield minion, the Knife Juggler, Mortal Coil, you open strong. With things like Power Overwhelming, Hellfire, and the ability to destroy your minion and do damage to other minions, you wipe the middle board. And then you just punch it through for the end with your charge and your ability to pull out a thing that's going to do 8 damage to his face. Well, on Acidic Swamp Ooze, we can just play it easily. The only thing I don't really want there is that Power Overwhelming at all. I do have a lot of 1-drops, but I am kind of a conservative person throwing back. I like to, a guaranteed 2-drop and a guaranteed 3-drop versus, maybe I pull a whole bunch of high drops. I would rather take the guaranteed drops. That's just my own personal, confidence thing. I'll light a little bit more here. There we go. I think that's a little bit better lighting. My face doesn't feel all washed out. Alright, so Mana Worm is definitely a very annoying thing. Ooh! See, I don't think the Knife Juggler will live. Between Arcane Missiles and Frostbolts, Knife Juggler might not live. So if you play an Acidic Swamp Ooze first, maybe you waste that on that, and that saves our Knife Juggler for later. And with our lots of little drops, the Knife Juggler gets more and more valuable as the game goes on. Slightly less valuable with a 2/3 goddamn thing that's going to become a 5/2 when I actually hit it. Alright, so he's giving us a great play here where we can Shattershun Cleric, make this stronger than this guy so he can live, and the Armani Berserker just dies. So that's a great trade. Now he'll probably just ping this, but that's fine because it takes his mana out of the turn, and then we can just trade right here preferentially, and we have board control. Houston, we have board control. Sure, hit me for 1, whatever. Not that worried about it. So now we just take out that annoying little thing. The question is, do we want to risk throwing this boat down with the blizzard potentially coming soon? That, indeed, is a question. I say no. I say no. Because, yeah, the mage weapon. Yeah, the weapon of the we have none. What? Yes! Radio. I'll make sure. I'll keep note of that. Alright. Those are some special tactics there. So we're gonna remove the one annoying thing to our dominance. We're gonna start putting some hurt on them. Now he's probably going to ping this down, but with only 1 4/4 on the field, I doubt he's going to feel that threatened to want to drop like a blizzard or something. Wow, he dropped that. My brain cannot comprehend the decisions that we are being, faced with. Because now we preferentially trade. We preferentially trade. We're trading really well. Defender of Argus. So good. Making both of these guys survive. Huger threats. And look at his cards. He has 8 cards. We have a functionally 7. And then if you count the draw for this, that makes 8. Draw for this, that makes 9. So we're not behind on cards. We're not behind on life. And he's pinging, which means he's nervous. Oh wow, Ice Lance. To clear the board, get rid of all your removal. Oh, thank you. Nice to see you. Zinkaro? Haha,